You are listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast. I'm Elena Paweta, Executive Communication Coach and TEDx organizer. With each episode, I'll share with you communication tips and ideas from top business leaders to help you excel in your career.
Hello, everyone. Today, my guest is Malwina Faliszewska, Gallup Certified Strengths Coach and trainer and expert in learning and development in diversity and inclusion. I met with Malwina in 2018 when she was nominated for my TEDxWomen event, and I was really impressed by her professional achievements and also by her passion and her commitment to the idea of empowering people, of empowering women especially. And Malwina is also a book author of a book for women, Reach for More and Make Career in Harmony with Yourself. So thank you for being here today with us, Malwina. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for invitation, Elena. Thank you for a great introduction also.
So, Malwina, you are a certified Gallup Strengths Coach. Can you tell us a bit more about this methodology?
Yes, with pleasure, because I really love this concept, the whole strengths-based approach. So, Gallup Institute is known for promoting and fostering the idea that we should focus on our strengths in order to achieve success. So 6 decades ago, Don Clifton, the researcher who also invented the idea of Clifton's strengths, this is the assessment that people can take today. He asked himself a question. What would happen if we, instead of looking what is wrong with people, we would focus on what's right with people. So he started his research, and it turned out that everyone has talents, and those talents are grouped into domains, and we have 34 talents. So everyone can take the assessment and discover his or her personal uniqueness through talents presented by this research and Gallup Institute. And the whole approach is that if we focus on our talents, we can develop them into strengths, and this leads us to success. Because the idea that we had in the past, and very often it's still present in some companies, in some companies, is that we were used to looking for what's wrong with us or looking for our areas of development, and our goal was to somehow improve those elements that are wrong. But this approach only leads us to prevent failure. Instead, if we really focus on what's already good in us, what we have what was great about us, we can really, on one hand, find a passion. On second hand, we can. On the other hand, we can feel the flow and really have this power to achieve our goals, to feel successful. So this is a very positive approach, and I think it's more and more popular worldwide. And I would say that 23 million people already took the assessment, and this approach is gaining more and more popularity among people and also in companies.
Great, very interesting concept. And why is it important to invest in our talents?
It is important because it gives us this feeling of being unique, of being self-confident. If we only focus on what is wrong with us, we don't feel, this power we have. Sometimes it's more difficult to feel the confidence. It's more difficult to achieve our goals because we don't believe in ourselves. And also, it is important because in this way, we can really achieve great goals. We can be successful. We can feel successful. And there are also Gallup's research which shows that people who can work on the basis of their talents and strengths, they are 6 times more engaged. They are 3 times less likely to feel any kind of, disease, burnout. The quality of life is better. So this is like finding, feeling that you are really a unique person. And what is very interesting about Gallup Strengths Coach is that assessment is that this is very unique, that only one person per 33 million has the same set of talents in their top 5 in the same order. So this shows you how really deep, how the assessment can deeply describe you, and also this approach of feeling unique and special, and also appreciating ourselves in this approach. So really, this is amazing about it. And when I work with clients and we develop their strengths, we discuss their reports, and when they gain this awareness of their talents, it's amazing how they grow, how they feel. How empowered they feel. So this is amazing, that how good it does to people to know their strengths.
Wow, it's an incredible statistic that 6 times more engaged.
Yes,
this is great from the people point of view. But what about organizations? From organization point of view, as a learning and development expert, so how do you see how organizations can invest in people's talents, and how can they also benefit and change their organizational culture if they do this?
So apart from this personal benefits that everyone has when they know their talents, especially organizations can benefit from it, because if they have happy people who feel they can do their best, they can bring their best to everyday work, they are more engaged. And of course, I often hear from some skeptical people that, okay, so does it mean that people will never do the things that are somehow difficult for them or that they don't like? Of course, such things happens, but if you have this, if the majority of your task is the majority of your responsibilities you do at work are based on your greatest strengths, you feel this empowerment, you have more energy, you feel successful, you feel the flow. So if you work on strength, it means that you feel energized. Sometimes you lose this sense of time because you are so passionate about something, and even if from time to time you need to do things that you don't like or that are maybe less satisfying for you, it gives still the great balance for that. So organizations are, I think, great, but so they benefit a lot from the strengths-based approach, and especially people who can, or employees who are aware of their strengths. They are also more I would say willing to propose new solutions to so they have this power inside of them to work more, to be happy, and it's not even possible. If you work on your strength, it's not possible that you will get the burnout. So this is important. So more and more organizations, they are more aware of that, and they I would say implement the strengths-based approach because it simply pays off. So it's just the good deal.
Yes, absolutely. More engaged employees, more empowered, more energetic. This is what we all want for our teams, right? So, what can we do um, to enable this? For example, if we are talking about a manager, team manager, uh, how can they behave? How can they communicate with the teams in order to implement this strengths-based culture?
So first of all, it is very much important that you have like this CEO support. If the leadership of the company believes that this approach is crucial, this is important, they can cascade it down. Without that, it's always difficult. But of course, managers themselves, according to Gallup research, in fact, managers are the most important people in the organization because they work directly with people. So this is like in their hands, how they can motivate their employees, how they can influence them, and also how they can work with people's strengths. So what can managers do? It's very likely right now that many organizations turn from like ordinary structures or this, I would say, paradigm of a boss. Manager who is a boss is rather right now a manager who is also a coach. So a person who somehow discuss with you what you like, what you dislike, what you feel good at. So it's not like that only this is the person who only delegates tasks. It's also the person who is more interested in you as a person, that there are less evaluations, I would say, but more discussions. So if you have this coaching approach, this strength-based approach, there is a constant feedback, constant discussions when people can really discuss it. Of course, you asked about how to discover those strengths. So this is also element of discussion. If some organization want to empower this strengths-based approach, they can of course use some Gallup Institute research, and they have also great materials and elements, but it's not only the way, so you can just this is like this focus. If they understand, managers, that this approach really bring the best of their people. If they see that when my people are able to, for example, first of all, know their strengths, then they can positively apply them into their work, they will definitely see very quickly the effects. So the best idea, I would say, is just to use this great materials, this great research, and just do this assessment, and then work with the strengths-based strengths coaches to discuss the report, but also with people individually. But then you can work with teams on strength-based teams, and then you can discuss it and you can grow with your people. But it's not like it happens overnight, but it's like the long-term approach. But definitely I believe it really pays off to somehow make an effort to find it, to work with that, and then just benefit from the results of this strengths-based approach.
Great. So we need to know the strengths of our teams, preferably do this Gallup test. And how much is this test, more or less?
You mean, okay, so it's like the full test is $49, so it's not so expensive, I would say. If you can discover your natural potential and everything that's really amazing about you, it's not such a expensive thing. Of course, then
it does not change over time, as I understand. So we do it once, and
yes, definitely you can do it once. It can slightly change, but in fact, if people, but not so much. And in fact, sometimes, of course, we are, as people change, our brain is, plastic, so we learn a lot, but definitely talents are rather, I would say, stable during the life. So it's good. You can take it once and then invest in your talent, because one thing is that because the talent is a natural pattern of feeling, behaving, and thinking about different things that you can productively apply in the future. And then if you invest in your talent, if you practice, if you are aware of that, if you use your talent very often, then you turn it into strength. And in fact, the strength development, I would say, it never ends. You can have it like a lifetime, approach, but definitely it brings you, it makes you more and more successful, and you feel more empowered. So maybe just to give you a little bit of idea what talents are, for example. So they are divided into 4 domains. They are executing talents, so it means how people make things happen. There are talents from influencing domain, so it's about how people influence others, how they speak up, they take charge. There are relationship building talents and also strategic thinking talents. So for example, among executing domain, there is a talent that is called achiever. So these are people who love to complete tasks. And for them, the greatest motivation will be after, the whole day, when they feel that they completed, that they ended their task, that they, feel this fulfillment. On the other hand, you can have, for example, harmony talent from relationship building. And for those people, getting to compromise, finding win-win options, the agreement, this calmness, this ability to be very practical about. So these people who loves this compromise, so this is their greatest talents. You can have, for example, the talent of, which is called significance. It is talent from influencing domain, and those are people who are very much empowered and motivated by what others think and say about them, and they love to do things that are significant, simply. So they are, for example, Don Clifton, the researcher who found who found this research and who developed this approach, he had the significance on the first place. So it means, he wanted to leave some legacy for the people. He wanted to do something that is useful for more than one person. Yes, so it's something big. And you have also, for example, from strategic thinking domain, you can have, for example, ideation. So this is the talent of creating ideas. So this is something how your brain is working all the time in creating ideas. So of course I could tell you a lot about it, but this is like the small sample of what talents can be.
This is so interesting. I think that I would have this achiever talent, but I need to check this.
Yeah, I guess you can. With your achievements, Elena, I would say this is definitely possible. You have achiever.
Yes, I'm really motivated by the tasks. So as you were saying this is so interesting that maybe some people are not that motivated as myself.
And do you make lists of things you need to do during the day?
Yes, I do.
Yes, definitely. And do you feel like this fulfillment when you cross you just...
Oh, yes, this is so nice to cross out the things.
Yeah, so definitely this might be achiever. But for example, achiever is talent that is, find this motivation in completing, finishing things. Whereas, for example, activator would be the talent that is so much, happy when it can start. So this is, this is amazing how how talents can bring a lot of different, elements in our life. We are very often not even aware of our talents. So this is also amazing about it. When we just learn about it, we name it, then we claim it, because we start to believe, okay, these are my talents, then I can see and observe them in my life. And then aim it is like the third part, and it means, okay, I can on purpose, productively use my talent to maximize my potential. So these are the 3 steps.
So let's repeat and frame the tips for managers in the organization. So first, we need to know the strengths of our people, preferably do the Gallup test, or become interested in the person, talk to the person, not just delegate tasks, but ask not only evaluation, but also discussion, discuss with the person, ask questions. And by knowing the strength, by knowing the talents and interests of the person, how can we move this into the strength part as a manager if we are working with our team?
Yeah, because so the talents and how we approach things is not only what we do, but how we approach things. So it doesn't mean that, for example, a person or you as a manager give a task to a person, and knowing the talents or the strengths already, you can leave this person the decision how this person will approach that element. For example, if you need to do any kind of research, or so the task is to make a research and to prepare some insights. Yes. So for example, a person with a woo talent, so this is a talent that is related to the people who have woo, they love people and they have huge network of people. So probably for them a natural way would be to network the people and ask them about their opinions, to gather the insights from people. Whereas, for example, a person with input talent would be interested to find more articles about it, and also will bring the same result. At the end, the result will be that the manager will have some kind of research done and the strategy or something presented. Yes, but this is also to let the person do it as this person do it the best. So to let the person do it in a way he or she is, more successful, to use their most successful and natural approach. So this was like the example with the research. But for example, if the task would be, I would say, what can we just, what task can it be like?
So for example, if someone likes to work alone, let's say, so we don't force them to work in the team.
Yeah, but definitely, for example, there are people who need who has, for example, many people from this strategic thinking domain talents. They would prefer, for example, this kind of work that they really need to think. So the manager, knowing that this thinking part is not only doing nothing but sitting, but if the manager knows that this is the work that's going, this is like something that is going on, this is the real work, that thinking is something that this person is really needs this to perform. So this is also something, that this person says, okay, I need to think it over, and it really means that this person will sit and think about it, and then the great ideas can be created. Yes, so it's good if the manager know how they can take the best out of their people and letting them being themselves. So thank you for your idea, because I just run out of ideas about a task that managers can give to people.
Yeah, but this is an interesting paradigm shift, that managers need to shift from being a boss and just delegating to being a coach. So they need to learn more about psychology and this personality types, and on ways we can approach people. This is actually very important. So, Malvina, also I wanted to ask you about your book you written for women, Reach Out for More. It is a great book, and I love the idea of empowering women, of making them go forward. So tell us a little bit about this book, why it is important, especially for women, to develop their talents to go forward.
Yes, so thank you for mentioning this book. It is very important for me because so I will tell you also, I have so it also was some kind, I understand it right now, the significant talent that I have, but about the book itself, it was important for me because I work a lot with women and I observe that they lack self-confidence. And I will also work with the area of diversity and inclusion, observing that we have still not enough women on the top positions, and somehow, even though on the basic level, I would say entry level, we have sometimes even more women at the entry level, you know, the higher we are in the organization, the less women we can meet there. So I was very much interested in about women empowerment, what they can do at work. So I, on the basis of my work with women and different, on the basis of what I observed in different organizations about observing women career, I decided to write this book to show what are the, I would say, how to develop your career in a very conscious way, without, you know, without there are also some mistakes that we as women very often have, because, for example, we sometimes believe that promoting ourselves is something wrong because we prefer to be, you know, like waiting for a praise, and we, for example, don't speak up, or we don't, you know, take a seat at the table. So these are very much about what this book is about career development and empowering women. And as I observe it, many of us still are not self-confident enough, and very often we lose a lot because of that. And when I coach women, when I discuss with them, it's somehow more difficult for them to believe in themselves and to appreciate their talents, their strengths. So especially I love this talent approach and this strengths-based approach to be used among women, because this is amazing how it shows you how amazing and how unique you are thanks to your talents. And it's really amazing because it's not like this talent approach shows you, because talents are also dynamic, I would say, that influence each one another. It's not like this, that a person who has something is like this and it's always like the same at every person, but depending on what is your set of talents, it gives you a unique, you know, a version of yourself. So I believe it's especially needed for women to know their strengths, to appreciate themselves, and to, you know, reach for more, as the title of my book, to feel successful, to feel, you know, empowered, and I observe how great result it gives, not only for women but also for men. But, you know, this topic of women is always very close to my heart.
Yes, we still have a lot of work to do in terms of gender equality, and this is why I also organized TEDxWarsawWomen, because I want to focus on this topic. What are your main recommendations for women in business? Maybe a few insights from your book, Reach Out for More. Maybe some people would want to reach out for your book and read it. So you said to promote yourself, sit at the table, speak up. What else can we do to develop our career?
I would say to have this approach that I'm good enough. that you don't have to be perfect, really. And if you reach for another position, for promotion, just very often when I observe and discuss it with women, they say, I'm not 100% ready for this. And my idea is you don't have to be 100% ready, because if you are, it doesn't develop you. So it's better if you are 80% ready, because then you have a challenge, then you have the ability to develop. So this is also challenging. You can somehow learn. And so this is my also recommendation, to not to be afraid to try, because the worst thing that can happen is that you will fail. But this is also the worst scenario. But usually it's not that that you fail, but on your way you just learn, you just gain experience, you meet more people, and when you do step after step, then you are, like, I would say, rich in your experiences, and then you just gain new perspective. It's like broader perspective. So and with every step you take, you feel more confident, even if the step is a very small one. I also, encourage women to take even a tiny step, and then the perspective changes. So this is my advice.
Great. Thank you. Great advice. So repeating that I'm good enough, not being afraid to try, and put yourself out there step by step.
Yes.
Great advice. So Malwina, let's sum up our discussion. So what are your final recommendations for our listeners, for managers in the companies? What can they do to develop their own talents and talents of their teams?
So what I would recommend for us, all of us, managers and people who are not managers, just to look at yourself from this perspective of your talents. I mean, what is about you that you do naturally without any effort? What is, something that you just take and just do, and you think it's nothing, but your environment, people around you, they say, wow, you did a great job. So probably this is where your talents are. So things that are somehow effortless for you. Then think about this approach that if you will focus on your weakness, it will never turn into strength. It will just be maybe less weakness, but it will never be a strength. But on the other hand, if you take your talent and you develop that, it may really lead you to success. So this is I would really recommend. And also look at your people, where they have this elements of excellence, especially if you, for example, if they have some projects and you see that they did something exceptionally well, probably this is where the talents are. So you can discuss it, how it happened that you did such an excellent work. And these are, just start to be more observant, start to be more, I would say, sensitive on what's great about people. This is also, somehow the mindset about looking what's good instead of looking what's wrong with people, what you should work on. And I think that this may help, this may support you in finding this strengths-based approach.
Great. So focus on what we do naturally, focus on our strengths, don't focus on our weaknesses.
Yes.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you very much, Malwina, for your insight.
Thank you.
So where can we find you if our listeners will want to contact you to ask more about their talents? Where can we find you and contact you?
Yeah, so definitely on the LinkedIn you will find, you can find me there. And I also share many interesting materials on strengths-based approach, on talents. I'm also present on Instagram and on Facebook, where I also share interesting insights of self-confidence and talents. So I invite you to join my social media channels.
Great, thanks, Malvina. I encourage to contact Malvina if you are interested in developing your talents and getting to know yourself better. This is a great approach. I'm for sure signing up for a consultation because I want to know what are my talents and what do I need to develop and how to put them into strengths. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm waiting for our strengths-based session.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast. Did you enjoy this episode? Let me know that you listened by tagging me in your LinkedIn profile and using a hashtag Ideas and Leaders. See you in the next episode.